Alright, welcome in. This is my second video for new comics and a mix of older comics that are pretty popular around the market and to readers. So, starting off, for the people who love the Arrow show, they've had pretty good appearances along the history of the Green Arrow series. This is the Green Arrow book to own. Green Arrow, The Longbow Hunters, Book 1, 2, and 3. These contain the first appearance of the next character I'm going to show, Shadow. So anyone who's watched Arrow knows Shadow pretty much is the love interest of Slade, first trainer of Green Arrow, also another love interest. She was one of the better characters in the TV series, and lo and behold, one of the better characters in their series to read. All three issues are great books to own. Value-wise, pretty low still, only because Green Arrow doesn't carry the popularity of, say, some of the newer books that are coming around the market right now. Now, the next book I'll show, before I show it, Frank Miller poster from MegaCon 2016. Just pretty. All right. So, free comic book day comic, only because if anyone finds it, get it, because it's funny. This is I Hate Image by Scotty Young. It carries the character Scotty Young developed, called either by one or two names, I Hate Fairyland or F Fairyland. Both names and both covers are pretty popular on the market. Great book. What makes this one so fun is this one, Gertrude, which is the girl with the axe, the main character from I Hate Fairyland, kills everyone from the Marvel Universe. Everyone from The Walking Dead, Savage Dragon, Bitch Planet, all of the major characters, Spawn, Saga, they're all in here and they all get murdered. It's a pretty funny book. I had to have it just because it was hilarious. And I got 2 copies, which was pretty cool because I'm probably going to keep it. Value-wise, it's worth nothing, but it's so good to own because it's funny. Now, switching over into something from Image that does carry value and popularity, introducing Sex Criminals. Matt Fraction, craziest book I've ever read. It is a book about not just sex, but being criminals that use their sexual powers to rob banks. So, not giving too much away, the lead character, which is a young lady on the front, Susie, has the power to mysteriously reach a certain point in her sexual climax, and it freezes time. That allows her to go rob banks while people are literally frozen in time. It's a great book, huge popularity, and weird enough, it's gonna get a TV series. Cinemax is in the process of finishing the first, I believe, 4 episodes. How this is gonna work, I have no idea, but it'll be fun. I have 2 of these. This is my not as nice copy. Easily a $20 book minimum. If the show takes off, which I'm still shocked if it hits, there's no telling where this book will go. Great read, not for children. All right, stepping into newer books and more of into the space territory, we're going to look at a book that gained popularity but really didn't mean to be as big as it was. This is Groot, issues 4 and 5. That's the death of old Groot and the first appearance of baby Groot. So, as you see in the Guardians of the Galaxy, baby Groot became super popular. Because he's so popular, Marvel went back and placed him in the Marvel Universe as a baby. This book is easily $10. This one's easily 10 to 15. That one's 10. How did their prices jump so much? I'm interested in seeing if it holds a value, only because it's really not that great of a book. Just popularity because of the movie. All right, so now books that are also movies that are going to gain huge popularity. You're looking at another free comic book day, but this one is easily a $10 book. It is, wait for it. I got 2. This is Jonathan Hickman's Infinity. Now, Infinity was a book that reintroduced Thanos as a major villain in the Marvel Universe, but also introduced other characters that Thanos will be using. So when we come to the Infinity Gauntlet movie, they just had a huge premiere and they showed new characters. One of the characters are Proximity Midnight and a few other of his, I'm trying to think what their name were called, but it's basically his minions. When they showed the Dark Order, there we are. These minions one of them first appeared in Free Comic Book Day, which took a free comic and made it $10 to $15. If the movie does well, this could easily be a $20 book, which is insane. Now, I will personally tell you, villains don't keep value throughout the movie. It's best to get rid of them early. But if you don't, I personally keeping it, at least one of these, because I like reading them. Now, if you want to see what their appearances start at, this is the big one. This is the non-free book. It is Prelude to Infinity from the New Avengers issue 8. This introduces the New Order, which is all of the characters that you remember from that trailer they just introduced for the Avengers Infinity Gauntlet. Now, also this book shows you characters that are going to get a new TV show currently, The Inhumans. These are all the characters that are in the Inhumans trailer, along with their insane brother. So it's pretty ironic that this book carries two different important characters, but it's good to have. And now to show you, issue 9 finally puts the Order on a cover. There's Thanos, and then there's each of the people there. My only one I remember the name is Proximate Midnight, because she's just cool. So issue 8 and 9, $20-$30. Free Comic Book Day issues, easily $10-$15. How did they gain so much value? It's because their first appearances of characters, and no one really jumped on them. They weren't books that had a huge amount of popularity. Speaking of books without a huge amount of popularity, but really good, this is Invincible's 1, the Larry's Wonderful World of Comics limited edition. Okay. This book has an unusual amount of hate on it. Only because it's the Larry's Wonderful World. Now, these were given away at Larry's convention. Whoever Larry is, but it was pretty cool convention, I guess. They gave away issues a month before Invincible 1 came out. So technically, all of the Larry's limited edition books are not reprints. They're actually the book itself. Invincible is easily a $100 book. These go for anywhere between $20 to $40. So hopefully, if it turns out that it goes this way, we could end up with this book being the true first issue of Invincible, even more so than the first issue. If that happens, these will jump in value because not only is there a smaller number of them, it's also a book that no one cared about to buy because they all bought the normal Invincible #1. As far as story, it's Kirkman. Robert Kirkman's first book, the guy from Walking Dead, this was one of his first big hits. It takes the superhero genre and pretty much gives you the standard Spider-Man type story. He's a kid, he has a life. Girls, acme, homework, supervillains when you're a teenager. You get the point. It's a pretty standard start, but then this book goes to some really dark territories and is really violent. People get cut in half, beat up, punched in half. Not a kid's book, but one of Kirkman's favorite books. There's actually characters in Walking Dead that walk around with t-shirts taken from this actual comic. All right, so let's look at other things that are in the movies or in huge trailers right now. So if you watch Thor the Ragnarok trailer, you're going to see tons and tons of images of Valkyrie. The interesting part is this was her Women of Marvel one-shot. This was just one book done. They only did it just to introduce this character. It wasn't a huge book. The values of it shift tremendously. This book could go from $5 to $25 only because it was a story arc to kind of give you more of an introduction to her again for younger readers. She first started in the Defenders. Her first appearance is still a moderately valuable book, but not too high that it can't be purchased though. So, speaking of books with controversy or unusual to purchase, XMen Gold. Everyone knows that XMen Gold had a writer who put in different things like lines from the Quran. Excuse me, not lines, but chapters and page numbers from the Quran. He had his own political opinion. Personally, I didn't see it as much of a big deal. The book itself has multiple variants. I have the fried pie variant that came through Books A Million and Second and Charles, but I went and got the Diamond Retailer Summit version. This happened in April 2017, covered by Ron Lim. My value of this book, I have no idea. It's just a good book for me to have. It's a variant not many people have for a controversial book that got pulled off the shelves so Marvel could change the actual things in it. So again, controversial book, limited cover that not many people own. Just good to have. I'm not sure of the value, but I think it will at least be better than the $15, $20 people are paying for the standard cover. Speaking of more TV characters and books that have a weird value, you have Uncanny Avengers 14 variant. That gives you a cover of Quake Daisy. So first appearance of Daisy is in Secret Wars, or is it Secret Warriors? Secret Wars issue 2 by Del Otto. I have those somewhere stashed. I'll put them into a video at a later date. This one carries value only because it's an actual photo cover of her, and people are getting this signed when she goes to conventions and then turning around and charging like $100 for it. Non-signed versions are going for like 15 to 20. I have no idea why this book is so popular, because the Uncanny Avengers 14 has nothing in it that's really exciting, but it's a book that people love and I don't mind having it. So I added it to the collection, and I'm actually going to put it right next to her first appearance. So if I ever see her, I'll get her to sign it. So other books that are gaining popularity, we're going to start looking at. There's a TV show coming out for what should have been the New Mutants, but somehow turned into a random selection of X-Men. Most of those characters in that are really hard first appearances. Like Uncanny X-Men 50 is Polaris. New Mutants, I believe 16. I think it's 16. I might get it mixed up. It could be 27. Is Thunderbird's brother. And then they introduced Blink. So Blink was done in the 90s. She was an unusual character who could teleport, kind of Asian-ish, wore lots of purple. Her popularity has never really died, but she never really got a full run in comics. So putting her in this TV show brought back X-Men 316 and added a huge value change. This book was a quarter book, maybe even $1. Now people are trying to get it all the way up to $5 to $20, which shouldn't even have been a big deal because this wasn't a very small print run. There is a red cover that replaces the holographic cover. That one is worth a little more, but both of these are gaining value. If the show's successful, it'll be a good book to have. Now, going from good books to have to books I just had to get because I needed to laugh. Deadpool 32 variant. Mary Jane variant. Okay, this book is wrong in every way possible. You actually have a Deadpool issue with no Mary Jane in it at all. She has her standard jackpot catchphrase, throwing on a grenade. She's wearing a SpiderMan belt. So she's a mix of like a ton of characters, but not really even Deadpool. So I kind of got it because honestly, it was just funny. This book I don't even think will be worth anything, but I'm going to keep it, put it away, and just keep it for laughs. Alright, so books that do have value that I like. X-Men Unlimited, 47. So, Middleton drew this book, and on the market, it's just wildly popular. People all want this book. I have no idea why, other than just the art on the cover. The inside's not very good. The story arc is but it gives you an incredible picture of Psylocke on the front, and a nice watercolor pastel-y look. A lot of people buy this book just from the cover. I have it because I have a lot of the Unlimited X-Men, and I like X-Men, so it goes in the pile. I just showed it because it's a very hard to find book that people love to buy. Now, back to TV stuff. TV and movies. You're looking at The Steel Serpent. That was Iron Fist's best friend, and not spoiling the show, a character that shows up throughout the series. Also, other Daughters of the Dragon are in here also. This takes characters. Oh, there's Iron Fist down there. This actually goes pretty much along with the movie, introducing characters in their exact same story arc. Good book, fun to read, and the Daughters of the Dragon may actually turn into a thing. They keep sliding them into Iron Fist and a few other series. I wonder if they're going to hold over long term. This is their second appearance. Their first appearance is in a magazine. This is their first comic appearance, I should say. I love having this book. I think I have 2 or 3 of them. It's just one of my favorite books to own. Now, back to the movies. Astonishing AntMan. So this is Marvel Feature Presents number 8, Astonishing AntMan. This is the origin of Ant-Man and the Wasp. This book goes into the creature from Cosmos. The interesting thing about this book is what a lot of people think the second movie will run into details about. So if they do a backstory / whatever happened to the old Ant-Man, a lot of people are thinking they're going to pull from this book. It's a great story. As you can see, they're super tiny. I have no idea why the creature from Cosmos is so creepy and boo-boo-y looking. But people really do love this book. Values on it are never cheap because it's old. This is a 70s book minimum. People love having it. I throw it in the collection. So, here's another early appearance of Ant-Man, and this is Scott Lang, not the previous Ant-Man like was in the Marvel feature book. Also, a character who makes an early appearance is the Taskmaster. I think this is his 3rd or 4th appearance ever. As you can see, it's an early appearance because the suit is horrible. That mask is even worse. Artists didn't really know what to do with him at this point, so they didn't have the skull face quite down. I own it because I love the Taskmaster. Great super Marvel villain. Mix of all the Marvel heroes. He can memorize their moves and use weapons kind of like what they have. So he has like a Captain America shield. Great character. Also showing up, I'll show him again in another book that we have coming up toward the end of this feature. So, now getting away from popularity and more talking about books that I've seen a major change on. A lot of people are selling Amazing Spider-Man 36. I've seen more on the market in the last 3 months than I expected, all in the range from $30 to $60. Mine is a lower grade, has a ton of spine ticks. If I can put it in the right light, you can see them. Oh man, it's like 6 of them. We'll probably come back at mid-grade. I shouldn't say lower. That's an exaggeration. But this book has really selling. I don't know why it's selling so quickly. I don't know why people are so into it again. for people who don't know, this is the 9/11 Amazing Spider-Man book. So this came out right after 9/11 and Spider-Man dealing with the destruction. So it's like a memorial book. I'm kind of shocked that it's selling when most people kind of want to step away from that memory. All right, moving on. Here's something that's just different from the norm for current collectors. Edge of SpiderVerse, Spider-Gwen #2. This is the 3rd printing. Why do I show the 3rd printing? Because not one other printing of the Edge of Spider-Verse looks like this. All of the other printings look just like the original 1st printing, and they're just different colors. None of them have anything special that sticks out about them except for the 3rd printing, which is like this. I think this book will actually have potential. I'm putting it away for a long haul. I plan on not really pulling it out for years to see if this becomes the book. I think this book will go up a lot, only because it's a variant that doesn't look like any of the other prints. It's low. It's a much lower print run, and it didn't really sell because people aren't interested in 3rd prints yet, nor do they even know it looks different. So this one I think has a lot of potential. Speaking of books that I'll put in together, to give you an idea, this is Marvel Ultimate Spider-Man 1. This book is already a known commodity. It's successful. It's a good book. The universe that it started in no longer exists. A lot of those characters are either dead or moved on to the current Marvel universe. Now, this book introduced a character called Miles Morales. So I always want to show this one next because this is a book you should buy. It's currently out on the market. It's new. It has huge potential. Who is the other Miles Morales? This book introduces for the first appearance of the current Marvel Universe's Miles Morales. For people who don't know, Miles Morales is this Spider-Man here. Yes, there are 2 Spider-Mans. Miles Morales is Afro, how do you put it? Afro-Latino? No, it's not Afro-Latino. He's just a black Spanish dude. He's black and Puerto Rican. Wow, that could not get that out. So his character is very successful. He's over with the Marvel Universe. People love him. Also, Spider-Man is still around, but Spider-Man now has taken on a role as almost like an Iron Man. He runs a large corporation. He's no longer out as much, and Miles Morales has picked up that difference. Miles Morales, of course, is a younger character. He shares some power similar to Spider-Man, but he also is much more powerful in the sense that he's stronger. He has more of like a lightning attack. He's just a little different than Spider-Man, actually, and he has camouflage. Okay, I'll say it a different way. He's much better than Spider-Man to still be Spider-Man. This book is a must-buy only because the new Marvel Current Universe, Miles Morales, we don't know what he's going to be, whether he's a hero, villain, whether or not his story arc is going to be good, but it's very interesting, and it shows the new suit for Taskmaster, the guy I showed you previously, and that new suit is amazing. All right, going to other books that are currently movie succulent that people are going crazy for. Here's a book that went from $20, $30 to well in the hundreds. How? I don't know how this book got into the hundreds, but it has. This is Amazing Spider-Man 361, first appearance of Carnage. Carnage is a Spider-Man villain and actually a Venom villain. He's going to be fighting Venom in the movie that's coming out. This book was not very big. It carried moderate values. I'm talking 30s, 20s. Lately, through the roof, over $100 continuously. It's selling on eBay continuously, and I think it's in the top 4 for the most sold books in the world. Shockingly enough, I'm not a big fan of Carnage. He's an okay character. He's just a crazier Venom. For the Spider-Man fans, though, this is a hot book. It's selling without a problem. All right, another Spider-Man character whose first appearance drops here is the Scarlet Spider. This is Ben Reilly. If you're reading current Spider-Man stories, you'll find out that he has an important thing going on in the Spider-Man series and the Clone Saga. The Clone in his first solo adventure, of course, but and his first adversary is Venom. So this book has all the right check marks. This book is hard to really gauge. I've seen it go for 20. I've also seen it go for 5. I personally have one that's in really good condition. I see it going 15, 20 bucks. But if the Clone Saga does not do well which is the current story arc in Marvel, this book should not hold its value. Matter of fact, I believe it'll actually start going down. Which is sad because, ding, it ties directly into the success of this book. The Iron Spider. This is the first appearance of that Spider-Man suit. It is a very popular Spider-Man suit. Amazing Spider-Man 529. I have it only because I know of its popularity. I've been holding on to it. I thought they would go something like this with the Spider-Man suit from the current movie. They did not. They made it more like the suit from the Miles Morales issue I showed you previously. It's closer to this one with the light up Spider-Man on the chest. So, major difference, but people are paying pretty good for this book only because of the first appearance of that suit. And this suit has had some holds. It's shown up different times throughout the Marvel Universe. It's holding its value pretty good. Alright, let's change pace a little bit and switch up into books that I consider important. Or, well, I won't say I consider important, but the market is starting to take notice. This one being second appearance of Black Adam. That is DC Comics presents Superman and Shazam, issue 49. This is the second appearance of Black Adam. Funny enough, this guy is going to be The Rock in the movie. He's actually getting his own movie, not tied to Shazam at all. Even though he's a really important Shazam villain, he's getting a movie before Shazam. The power of The Rock says a lot. Alright. Non-movie news, but a book every DC fan should own. DC Comics presents 87. This is Superman and Superboy. That Superboy is in our universe, as in the real world, and he idolizes Superman and the goodness and purity of comics. When he sees that the DC universe goes darker and is no longer the honest, very clean version of his thoughts of the world, he becomes a major villain. In the future, he will turn into Superman Prime, which is the scariest character in the DC universe. He's killed everybody. He's going to be a major player forever. Get his first appearance now while nobody's really paying attention to it. I've picked this up twice now, and I've not paid more than $1. I don't believe this book will be cheap if they keep making him into a major villain. Every time they bring him back, the entire DC universe has to fight him together to defeat him. That says a lot because he's beaten everybody. And unlike Superman, he has no moral compass, so he kills everyone. I believe he's always going to be an important DC player because this is the character DC's scared of. And this is also a character that talks about the DC universe in a way that reminds people of how the old comics were and how dark they've become now. So, speaking of characters that are gaining popularity, let's look at the second appearance of Darkseid of Apocalypse. So, this book is the New Gods number 2. This is the first cover appearance of Apocalypse and his crew. This book is expensive. It's always going to be expensive. I have a lower grade copy, and it's still probably an easy $25-$30. That's insane for a book that is a villain that we haven't even seen yet in the DC universe. So when they do the Justice League movie, they haven't even shown him. They've only shown so far the big armored knight looking guy, and that's him. This is his first appearance. His name is totally eluding me right now. It'll pop back into my brain sooner or later. But this is his first appearance. It is New Gods number 7. Again, I picked up a lower grade copy, dirt cheap. I think I paid like $2. With this book being so good and so many people picking it up, I just wanted to have one to throw back into the vault. Hopefully I'll come back to it later on. I personally don't believe villains in movies hold value. So we'll see. This is me attesting whether or not this book's going to turn into anything. And more New Gods, issue number 9. This is the first appearance of the Bug. DC Universe is actually reviving some of these old characters. He's just gotten his own series again. I'm shocked because this is his first appearance, and I didn't think he was going to turn into the book that would get the first push out of all the New Gods. This is one of them that people are enjoying. So I'm going to keep an eye on it and see what it does. As far as value, still dirt cheap. Most of the New Gods books, no one's jumping on yet because they don't know whether or not they're going to be big books. We'll see whether or not the story arcs are good, and that'll tell you if it's a good book to have. Last but not least, we're going to look at a movie series that's coming, a TV series that's coming out that people are really excited about and comic fans are kind of horrified. That is The New Warriors. This one is New Warriors Limited Series 1, signed by Scotty Young. There are tons of New Warrior books I could pull, but none of those books would address currently what the New Warriors on the TV show will be. Interesting enough, this is the closest version of the New Warriors that they're going to show in the TV show, but some of those members aren't even originally New Warriors. So you have people like Microbe who've been added in. This is his first appearance. This book has no value yet. Get it now while it's cheap. It's an early Scotty Young. It's first appearance of a character. It's important to the TV show that's coming out. And if the TV show's successful, this will be the book to have because this is the team they're showing. But they've added in some curveballs. They took what I would say is the most popular character in the Marvel Universe for side fans. I call them the indie fans or the hipster fans. Squirrel Girl. Yes, this book, who does not have a girl wearing a squirrel suit even on the cover, is her first appearance. Never cheap. $60, $70, $100. Easy book to ignore. Most people in the market don't know it's her first appearance, which is Marvel Superheroes Winter Special. I bought it originally because it was an X-Men book. I had no clue it was going to be Squirrel Girl's first appearance. 1991. Anytime you see this book, buy it. I don't care the condition. Buy it automatically. Squirrel Girl is always popular. If the TV show is popular, this book will never go down in value. Matter of fact, I see this book actually doubling in value as she gains popularity. She's unbeatable. She's defeated the whole Marvel Universe. And her only power is to control squirrels and super strength. She even beat Dr. Doom by filling his suit full of squirrels. Yeah, that's gross, but it worked. So, they've added in other characters into the universe, Squirrel Girl being one, because the New Warriors never had a Squirrel Girl member. She never was a part of the team, but adding her in added to the popularity. Another first appearance, Speedball. Speedball is a character who was introduced by, I believe, Ditko, and it was just an old school type character thrown into the Marvel Universe and never became popular. Now, with the New Warrior story arcs, they found ways to bring life to him again. He becomes a mildly important character, goes through a dark turn and comes back into his happy-go-lucky self. Basically, he's a guy who's a giant rubber ball, basically. And he bounces around and hits people with his bouncy body. Move over, Spidey, indeed. He was supposed to be the future. Wah, wah, wah. All right, last but not least, a member of the New Warriors, even though he was never a member of the New Warriors, is Mr. Immortal, the blonde guy in the middle. He's the team leader for the Great Lakes Avengers. So, the GLA, Great Lake Avengers, is kind of a funny team because they've never been taken serious ever in Marvel Comics. Just to give you an idea, the West Coast Avengers are the lamer Avengers. And then their lame Avengers were the Great Lakes Avengers. They've added Mr. Immortal as the team leader to the New Warriors. Makes no sense. He's never been part of the New Warriors. But he's a good team leader. And his only power is he can come back from the dead. He can be killed any way possible. He will come back. As you can tell by this book, not very popular. Marvel just tried to revive it by giving it a new series. Again, it did not sell at all. Personally, I would tell you to pick these out of dollar bins, but nothing more. Keep an eye on it. If it does take off, you'll have it and you'll be ready. If not, at least you have it in your hand. Just something to hold on to see. Who knows? They could find something popular for them to do. All right. Thank you for sitting with me through another video. I'm going to try to see if we can load one up again by next week on a few more details. I might even do special ones like maybe all X-Men or maybe even I might try to do an all-girl issue. All right. We'll see. Well, all-woman issue. I shouldn't say all-girl because none of them are actually that young. All right. Thank you again. Have a good day.